So while you're finishing cutting, I'm going to talk a little bit about negative and positive and what it means in art. Because mostly how we use the terms negative and positive, because it's what they mean, it's the definition, we're talking about negative is a bad thing. It's the wrong thing. Whether that's a choice that you make or something that happens, negative is associated with being wrong or bad. Positive is the opposite. It's good and right, okay? So if somebody tells you you had such a positive attitude with your friend today, they're giving you a compliment they were impressed, they noticed that you were really being kind to your friend that day. It's different in when we talk about negative and positive in art though, because we're not really talking about wrong or right or good or bad. So I think that was really confusing to me when I was learning about this. So I just want you just to remember not to think about negative and positive as right, wrong, good, or bad, okay? What it means in art, and there may be a tie to all of that in the meaning of art, but we're not going to get into that. What we are going to get into is, what does it mean? So we've taken the piece of paper that we cut our heart out of, and we put it on a piece of paper. And what's the very first thing that your eyes look at when you see this? The white heart, right? Yes, the white heart. The white heart is the positive. So it's the subject of the art. It's what your eyes look at as soon as you look at the art, okay? So like I was saying, if you look at a painting and the painting has dogs and they're playing frisbee and they're in the park, the first thing that you're going to see is the dogs playing in the frisbee in the park. You're not going to notice the grass first or one tree or the sunshine in the background because they're in the background. So the positive space in art is the subject of the art. It's what the art is about, and it's where your eyes look first. Okay, so this is the negative space in the art because we've cut out the background. Does that make sense? Okay. And this is the positive space in the art because it's the very first thing that we look at, and this piece of art is about a heart. That's the subject. This is what this piece of art is all about. It's about the shape of a heart and how we are going to add our own creativity to it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm sorry, you're also going to need a glue stick. I'll make sure I put that in the description. So that's how I messed up before. I tried to use a different kind of glue and it didn't work. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this negative space of art and you're going to put glue from your glue stick on one of the sides of it, and you're not going to use a lot of glue. You don't want to use a lot of glue because you don't want it to get so stuck that you can't take it off, but you want it to be stuck on the paper enough so that it doesn't move while you're painting. Okay. So go ahead, put your little bit of glue. It shouldn't take very long at all. Okay. We have the background covered, and the positive space is the white heart. You see that? Okay, so now let's get to painting. First, I'm going to talk about splatter painting because that's what it's called. It doesn't have to be splatter painting. It can be, my daughter Zoe's, she's a nanny now, and the baby's mom is here to pick him up. That's what you can hear in the background. Okay, so splatter paint, you go like this, splatter, splatter, splatter. If you're having a hard time splattering your paint, it could be because it's a little bit too thick. So then I just add a little bit of water and then go back to splattering and see if that helps. So if you are splattering and the paint is not only going on your paper, it's going on your face, it's going to your eyes, it's going on the person that's sitting next to you, we want to use a different technique, okay? So I'm gonna dip my paint in. Whatever paintbrush or whatever hand you're holding your paintbrush in, put it in the opposite hand. That means put it in the other hand. I'm right-handed, I'm going to put my paintbrush in my left hand. If you're left-handed, put your paintbrush in your right hand. And if you need help with that, ask mom or dad. So you're gonna hold it closer to the painting. You don't wanna hold it up here or back here. You wanna hold it pretty close to the painting. And you're going to just, oop, give it a slap. Well, at least it splattered. The splatter went down, not up. That's exactly what we were going for. And this should not hurt at all. If it hurts, it's too hard. You want to do it lighter than that, okay? And so a little bit, I got a little tiny bit on my face, but it's definitely less. Okay. So you can just do that. If it starts to hurt or gets a little bit sore, because doing this for a while probably would, you can just rest and do something different. So along with splatter painting, I'm going to do other kinds of painting. So you can do whatever kind of painting that you want to do. The most important part of this is that you get paint all along every side, the edges of the heart, where the blue meets the white. You want that covered in paint. And if you feel like you have to hold the blue paper down just to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere, absolutely do that with whatever hand you're not painting with. So what colors of paint are you using? So pretty. I can't wait to see it. Okay. Go ahead. Pause the video if you need more time painting. So mine is covered. I did the up-down motion. Remember we made flowers with the up-down motion when we were painting, that just blot, 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 blot. What else did we make? We made clouds. Remember when we made clouds and we made the sky with the rain and the thunder? It's just the same up and down motion, okay? You don't have to stick to that motion. You can brush up and down, side to side. You can paint with anything that your mom or dad has for you to paint with. Okay, so I have paint on the heart and around where the blue and the white paper meet. It's called an edge. It's the edge of the heart. So I made sure to get the paint all around there. Okay, you want to make sure that you don't have like puddles of paint. So if you do, go through your paint with your paintbrush without paint on it and just blot or brush so that you don't have puddles of paint on your paper. Okay. Because remember what happens when that happens. Yeah, it could rip it. It could if there's enough. Okay, so I'm going to remove the background that we were covering up. And I only used a little bit of glue, so it wasn't hard, not super hard at least, to get off. You might need mom and dad's help with this one. And I did maybe 4 little spots of glue, and I had one of them rip a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, see? Ta-da! We painted inside the background. So the background, or the negative space, now is the white part of the painting. That's the background. The purple, or whatever color that you did yours, of the inside of the heart is the positive space. Okay, Now we're going to put that to the side. You can throw this away now if you are all finished with it. We're going to get our heart that we cut. I'm going to choose blue this time because I want to see what it's going to look like on light paper and what this is going to look like on dark paper. And the same exact thing, you're going to do the same thing, little bit of glue, just a little bit, just enough to keep it held down. And that's another thing, I don't want you to feel like you have to rush to paint because, you know, that's not how we do. But you should be aware of the time. The more time that passes, the harder it could be to take this off of the paper because the glue, it works over time. So it starts to sink into that construction paper and really just has it stay. Okay, so push it down. I'm gonna try to get some more of this light color because I'm using dark paper. I'm using dark paper, so I was thinking the light will show up more. Okay, so now, instead of painting this part, because that's covered up, you want to paint all along the edges of your heart. So where my light blue meets my dark blue, that's the edge. So you want to make sure that you get paint all around that and all in this background. Remember, this is going to be a negative space art, and so you want to make sure that you get the entire background full of paint. Don't worry about painting the heart. Just paint all around it, okay? Because we're now painting the background. Okay. I'm gonna do more of a sweeping motion with this one. I think if you're doing just splatter art, that might take longer. So make sure that you pause the video and take as much time as you need. If you were doing that, I can't wait to see the different techniques you guys use to apply the paint. Whether you balloon painted it or you painted it with a paintbrush, or you splatter painted it, because all of those different ways of getting the paint on the paper is going to, they're going to look different. Okay, so we're going to make sure we get the background really good. If you get paint on the heart, do not worry about it, okay? Because we're going to take that off and we're going to wind up throwing it away. So you don't need to focus on painting the heart, but if you get paint on the heart, don't worry about it. So I'm going to do some dark and light painting just because I'm very curious to see what this is going to look like on this color background. Okay. And really all we're focusing on, we're not necessarily focusing on making something with this art. We're just focusing on getting the paint on the edges so that we can see the shape of the heart. And I just got a really good idea. So I'm taking my brush and just starting on the heart and then out. It'll sort of look like the heart is like a sun, like it's warm and it has beams coming off of it. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. When you are done, you're going to very carefully peel the heart off the paper. So see, I did get paint on my heart, but it's okay because it's no longer a part of the art project. We're done with it. And this is my background. See, the first thing you look at now is still the heart, right? Yeah, but we've colored in the background or the negative space. So I'm going to put these two together and then I'm going to ask to see yours, okay? So carefully, we've got negative and positive space, hearts. Very carefully, let me see yours. You can put them next to each other too if it's too hard to do that. Those look amazing. You did a great job. Do you have more of an understanding of negative and positive space in art now? Negative, background. Positive, first thing that you look at. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me doing art. I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon. Bye.